Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Inside Out Smile. I'm your host, Dr. Amber Q, and I'm thrilled and delighted that you've joined me today. I've had kind of a bit of a weird kind of weekend / previous week, and I'd like to share that with you. Now, I don't like people that are rude. I mean, who does, right? Who does like rude people? But I think it's really interesting when you look at different people, right? Because some people, they have just the most lovely, adorable face. You can see kind of the goodness shining out. And then other people may look a little bit more grumpy, and we don't know what's happening in their lives. So I'm not judging, but it's just really interesting because the other day I just popped out to get some Greek yogurt, and it was really interesting because I was in a rush, but then there was this elderly lady who wanted to know where the bus stop was, and it was just, she was really, really frail. So I stopped to help her, and I actually took her to the wrong bus stop because in the UK and in London, everything is changing. The bus stop that I thought was a bus stop used to be a bus stop, but it's not a bus stop anymore, but it had a seat and a cover. And the new bus stop didn't have either. And it's quite funny because the elderly lady was more switched on than I was because I don't use buses. So it was quite funny because we got to the bus stop, and then I was saying to her, let me just check. And then I said, I don't think this is the bus stop. I think that's, and she was like pointing, and she obviously was headed that way when I took her the wrong way. Anyway, and it was just, she was so sweet. She was so sweet. And there was a girl in front of me who also wanted to help, which was just lovely. And that girl had the loveliest expression on her face. Anyway, so then what happened was that I said to her, this is the bus stop, but there are no seats here and there's no shade. Are you going to be okay? And then this other girl came along, and she was really lovely. And in fact, she looked quite familiar. And I don't know, I may know her from work or something. I'm not sure. Anyway, she looked familiar. She was lovely. She was in a wheelchair. And we were discussing that, the new bus stops, obviously, there are no sort of seats, there's no shade. What is it like for elderly people? And then we were discussing the fact that sort of disabled spots had been removed from a particular place. Anyway, she was really lovely, and we were chatting away, and I was saying to her, could she stay with the elderly person because I needed to actually get back to my elderly parents. And she said yes, but then I just decided to wait and chat, and I waited for the bus, got the elderly lady back onto the bus. And the reason I'm sharing this is that it was just so lovely to meet so many lovely people. The elderly lady, the girl who wanted to help. In fact, one of the bus drivers beforehand, which I was asking him if he was going in the direction that the lady had wanted to go to. Then the other bus driver, the girl in the wheelchair. So it was such a lovely interaction. And then when I got home, I sort of said to my mother that I'd been delayed because of the elderly lady. And my mum was like, absolutely, I'm so glad you did that. You should have stayed. People should help elderly people. And I agree. But it was just so lovely because I had such a wonderful sort of, I guess, that sort of time frame was just wonderful because there were so many lovely people although one bus didn't stop for us, even though I was trying to wave it down. But the thing is that equally you get people where sort of later during the day, I was out and about and I sort of let a car through, and, driver just totally blanked me, didn't want to say thank you. And it's just so interesting, isn't it? Because some people are so lovely and helpful, and then other people aren't. And again, we don't know what's happening in their life. Maybe it's a one-off, maybe they are nice. But I think the thing is, we always have to kind of just, I don't know, we have to be the light for others, right? And this is why I love self-awareness, because if we're self-aware about ourselves, then we have that light within us that we can use to shine upon others. And and it's just interesting because I've kind of had that contrast today where I've met lovely people and then just people who haven't sort of, kind of acknowledged anything when you've let them go by in terms of, a car. But it's just so nice, It's just so nice. It's just so nice to have lovely people in the world. And I guess that's all I want to say today, is just really that we should be the light for others, right? Because we don't know what anyone else's story is. And it was quite interesting because I was at a friend's quite late the other night, so I'm quite sleep deprived. And so the elderly lady said she wanted to go to a particular place. And the young lady in the wheelchair said to me, does she know where she's going when she gets to her destination? And then I was like, oh, that's a good point. So then I asked the elderly lady, and she was like, yeah, I know where I'm going. I know what I'm doing. And it was just, it was a lovely moment. I just really enjoyed it. And yeah, so I just wanted to share that. And I think really that's just it, right? Because of course now we know, oh my gosh, the disaster, the earthquake in Morocco, the floods in Libya after the storm. So many people are suffering in so many places, and everything that we can do, every little thing that we can do, it's like the butterfly effect, everything that we can do to improve the cause of humanity, being joined and feeling for each other and being more empathic makes a better world. It's just those little moments in our local communities. And obviously we can donate to charities as well, because the world is so much more connected. And honestly, I'm just so in awe of the volunteers that actually go over and help. That's just so amazing. And it's just heartbreaking. It's especially heartbreaking, I think, when, countries that don't have sort of that many funds, like Palestine, when they send intervention teams as well to go and help, and they send, precious funds as well. And it's interesting, isn't it? Because quite often the people that are suffering the most are the most generous. So it's something to bear in mind. So let's all just look out for each other and be the light. Until the next episode, let's all feel extraordinary, create connection, and change lives.